Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Box of the Technical Trader at thetechtrader.com. It is Wednesday, the 15th of January. These are the charts of the day. Well, the markets had a very difficult session. After first up and then closing not far from the lows, although there was a late snapback, but it was pretty ugly. We'll see what that means. A lot of stocks still looking good and many breaking out. Here's an example. AAOI, which had a wonderful swing on back in here, back in the 2016-17. Then spent the last couple of years in a very ugly pattern. But from May through November, December, this stock formed a nice base that then turned into a breakout, pullback, and an explosive move today. Up $1.74 or 12.5% on 1.9, almost 2 million shares. That's the biggest volume in 2 months, and it comes on a breakout day. I'm not looking for an extension at 18, and if we get lucky, we might see the stock at 22 and even as high as 28 longer term. This is what I'm looking at in terms of the 22 range right there. So keep an eye on that one. CGC, well, look, even though it sold off and finished off the highs, which was just near the 26, I had a target, if you guys recall, at 25, 5.5, and then 29. So we blew through that with the 3-day run today that took on big volume, which took it as high as I said, 25.97. Finished about $1 off the high. It was still up 105. It closed mid-range. 21 million shares is one of the biggest volumes we've seen, and it's a cluster of volume that tells me it's key breakout technically. I think this goes higher. My key target going forward is about 28.85, 29 zone, and there's a gap there as well, right at 29.62. So that's an area where I think if it does get up to, it may pull back. Longer term though, mid-30s is doable, I think. 3D systems, well, certainly the breakout, we gave you a swing trade on it. It's been acting great. The breakout came there, 2-day stall, an explosive move that's taken it basically from 8.25 to 12 in a very short period of time. And now it's up against resistance, but I'm thinking there may be, if it pushes through here, a run up to 14.25. This could have some really explosive potential. Stay tuned on that one. I think it's pretty heavily shorted. ENDP. You can see that this stock has broken out of a coil. That's the third one, falling wedge, and kind of a coil in the last few months. Making new highs across the board here, there, and there on the rally highs anyway. Today, it reached 612. That's the highest level reached since mid-May. And I'm looking now for a test of 6.5 and 8 coming forward. FLGT's a new one. I just like this story. I like the chart. It's been checked out fundamentally through consultant institutional sources. It's a good story. Anyway, from a technical standpoint, breakout, retest the trend line, explosive breakaway gap, run up to resistance and form a coil. This looks like $25 in the next few weeks and months. For now, I'll take a retest of the high, which is around 16.5, and then run it towards 20. FOMX. Late in the day, I noticed that this stock had broken out of a base pattern that tells me it goes higher. There's some resistance at 5, but I also think it's probably going to see 5.5. Maybe up towards 6.5. And if it spikes up to that high, 7.5. FRTA, great looking chart. Base, breakout, coil, explosive move, retest the trend line, form a tight coil, breakout and run. So from 11, it's gone up to 14 just in the last 4 or 5 days. And I think it's headed towards 17, my next target. Current swing trade IMGN with a pop, wedge, pop, retest, explosive move to the target, and then a pullback on a falling wedge and a 3-wave corrective. But today it snapped back 8% on 2.2 million, and I think it's going to retest the highs at 6.10 and then run up towards 8. KERN, we showed you the big run up that it had in the last, in November, December, which took it from 3 to 14 or thereabout. Then the pullback falling wedge. That popped out today with vengeance, and it was up $1.76 or 24%. There's some resistance right there at about 10.25. We get through that, the next target on a swing would be around 13. LLNW, really nice pattern, and you can see that it broke through resistance. I wanted to show you that. There's a bunch of tops and resistance here. My next target is about 535, and going forward beyond that, 6. Luna, a long-time swing when it broke out here in March, continues to push higher. For me, it reached a new multi-year high. That one goes all the way back to 2008, a 12-year high. So good stuff. And and I think it's going to extend. And the projection tells me this could be $9.5 to $10 short term. MNK broke through a key level today. There's a quadruple top in this area and exploded through it on volume of 22 million. This is almost has to go higher, I think. 5.5 and 7 are your targets. Explosive move on NEO today, taking out the falling wedge with vengeance. Big volume, 234 million shares. And the stock rocketed. At this point, I'm looking for a test of this zone. And then I think you're going to see something closer to 6. And LTX snapped back after a 2-week pretty hard hit from 13.5 down to 8. But the snapback today was $1.34, 16%. And the volume picked up, although not as strong as I'd like to see. And I also want to see it get through the 10.5, 60 zone with energy. You have, if that occurs, 13 and 16 are targets. A nice pop from marijuana stocks. Little OGI exploded out of its declining tops line through the 50 with a breakaway gap and up near resistance at that gap. If it does follow through, the next target is 4. Beyond that, 5.25. PCG extended slightly through the December high, which was 1309, reaching today 1328. Closed at 1275 though, so it might be resistance that we might back and fill in here. But if we do extend, my targets are 16 and 19. PRPL has been up now for a 4-week run, 3.5, 4 weeks, and it looks excellent as it broke out of that wedge. My target now, 13.75, 14. RAD popped sharply, pulled back sharply. Island reversal, so I said be careful, that's going to come down. It did hard, but it came to support and bounced. I put a swing on it yesterday. Today it followed through with a 4.5% gain, 10 million traded. It could be on its way back to 17, we'll see. That's the target. Sava, I think, popped its wedge today. As late in the day, it came on strong, was up 93 cents at 12%. Volume was 3.7 million. Not enough, but watch this level tomorrow. Through 906, we can see 11. Through that, we can see 14, 15. Smile Direct had a big, big day. This is 2 days in a row, actually 3. From a low of 9.25 the other day to 13.75, a very big 50% move in a 3-day period. It's up against resistance. But I got a feeling the momentum could carry this to 15, where there is additional overhead resistance at that high there, and that's my next target. Seed looking awfully strong here. It popped sharply, pulled back for a couple of days, had 2 inside days in a row, and today it started to move again. Up 42 cents or almost 5%. Not a heavily traded stock, but with this kind of a pattern, we might see 13, 14 short term. And finally, SRNE, after its big pop at the other day, came down. It had an inside day yesterday, followed by a pop today of 34 cents or 8%. The volume picked up a little, 6.3 million. If you can get up through here, we should test the highs at 5 and then get to 5.75, even maybe 6.5. That's the charts of the day tonight. Have a good evening, everyone.